What are the challenges with connecting with women through media these days?
Today women have so much choice. They absorb information and media in many different ways. Often women are multitasking. They're being exposed to messages from 3 different directions at exactly the same time. They can be on social media while casting an eye at the television screen and paging through a magazine all at the same time.
We start with the customer, we look at her mindset, we look at her habits and her behaviours, and we create the content according to that. So instead of, I think in the past, brands used to create content and push it to a customer, and now you can't do that because they're pulling their own content, and so we've actually responded to that by making sure we start with the customer's needs.
I think it's a great discipline as a journalist to think about how someone's consuming the content. So of course a lovely 3,000 piece narrative on a safari in Africa is not going to work online, for example. But so we look at what we're interested in and how we can cut and slice it, for our various platforms, whether it be our iPad app, our social feeds, our print edition, our newsletters. It also means that we can break news in ways that we perhaps haven't been able to in the past with our website and our social feeds.
I think across all of our platforms we have to keeping that idea of relevancy and keeping that idea of looking at what our readers want. So in terms of getting that content and the way that the process we do it, we're evolving our skills so that we look at a multi-platform journalism point of view.
I think magazines are very much about leaning back and having an in-depth read, and digital is really about leaning forward and having that faster bite of information. So for us tackling content, we're really looking at the pace that we create that content and which platform that's going on, whether it's in print, whether it's digital, whether it's social.
We used to be able to plan everything out in a finite way, and today you have to be really fluid. You have to be prepared to go with every day and what happens in social media in real time. What's happening with weekly titles, what's happening every day is more important than what you've planned out 6 months in advance.
And I think, how and where women consume Cosmo, that absolutely has changed. But that's exciting because we're going to take that in all different places, and we're going to continue to expand our reach and with brand extensions and invest in new platforms so that we can really expand that wider audience.
What appeals to advertisers about Bauer's portfolio of women's brands and the audiences you can connect with?
I think the partnership between our heritage of brands like House and Garden and Australian Women's Weekly and really long Australian heritage brands, as well as the fact that we've got women basically from 13 and Dolly right through luxury, Harper's and Elle, then right up to Australian Women's Weekly and yours, means that if an advertiser comes to us and they want to reach women, we can reach them at every stage in their life.
Magazine will be the core of what we do. It's the core of our business. It's where we create a deep connection with her, but around that we want to create a sort of a 360-degree interaction with her. Our websites perform part of that. The events that we do perform part of that function. We're going to get more into branded content and licensing content and licensing the IP of our great brands to help advertisers grow their business.
For us, it's really making sure that we've got that full 360-degree advertising channels around us, and making sure that we're utilising each of them for their best purpose, and so that they're actually being the most meaningful way to communicate to women of all ages. Just using one is a real challenge, but using all of them together is really powerful.
Each of our brands has a very specific audience, and we're quite forensic in the way we approach them. The teams and the editors have a lot of knowledge about that market, and they live and breathe the market. So I honestly believe that's the reason we're so successful, because we're really focused on it.